It's a bit of an earlier start than we normally have here. So we decided to go for a 9 o'clock start today because we have quite a packed agenda and we appreciate everybody taking the time out of their days to come and talk to us all today. So we'll start with the venue safety briefing. If we hear a fire alarm, it will be a continuous siren. On hearing the alarm, please leave the building by the nearest exit. The exits are, well, they're all around you. We're in a bit of a circle here. So there's the main entrance and there's two at the sides. And we will head out into the rear car park where we shall all assemble. We know who's here because we've got a digital means of checking people now, and we'll be able to go from there. Do not stop to pick up your belongings. Probably worth grabbing your car keys though, because you might want to get home at some point. You won't be able to get back in straight away. And stay together so that we know where you are. Throughout the day, when we're at the seats, could we keep our mobile phones on mute, please? If you do need to take a call, take it, but if you just go to the back or into the foyer to take it, that would be great. Please be respectful to the presenters. All of us here are not professional presenters. We are here just doing our best to provide information and learnings to everybody. Question and answer sessions, raise your hands. When we go around, there are two microphones. Gary Culkin and Chris Salmon at the back have them. Wait till they come across. It's so that everybody can hear what your question is, and we are recording these as well. They'll bring you a microphone, who you are, who you represent, and what your question is. At the meeting breaks, we'll have tea and coffee. Just before we do go to the tea and coffee session, we'll have the mics go around the marketing stalls. There, you guys will have an opportunity to introduce yourself, tell us a quick minute about what your organisation does, to hopefully encourage people to come to your stand during the break. At lunch, we'll have a buffet lunch at the back. That will be after the morning closing session, before we start the afternoon. And please do take the time to visit the stands during these breaks. Right, that's that done. So, bit of a big agenda. We seem to be getting bigger agendas again. But this morning we will hear from Paul Love, then we'll hear from Port of Aberdeen, we'll do the suppliers. Pearson's and ASCO will be on the stage together. I'm being told when that happens, the universe will not implode. Then we'll hear from Peterhead and Montrose, and then we'll move into the afternoon session, which we're going to be focused on renewables. We did in the past close it at that, but we've seen the advantage of doing focus sessions in the afternoon. We started with anchor handling one back in May. That was quite successful, so we've decided to have focus sessions in the afternoon. And this afternoon is going to be on the renewables, walk to work, etc. So, for those, I see there's a few faces here today which I haven't recognised before. Thank you very much for coming. If this is your first MSF event, welcome. We have a mission statement at the MSF to have an open forum created to help improve safety at all levels in the marine energy sector. To me personally, for what I do in my day-to-day job, that's really important. Safety is everything that we do. We all dread that phone call at 10 o'clock at night to say something's happened. Having these conversations here helps us disseminate learnings to hopefully reduce the number of those calls that happen. We are an inclusive gathering for maritime professionals, seafarers, stakeholders in the offshore energy industry. We all come together, have a nice cup of tea and some lunch at times, but we're here to learn primarily. Objective, we act as a focal point. We highlight areas of concern, and we inclusively collaborate with cross-industry groups. We don't just work together. Yesterday morning with Step Change upstairs, talking about mental health and well-being, listening, learning, understanding how can we as a marine sector learn from what they're doing at the topside sector. To share industry information, promote good practices, develop, review and publish industry guidelines. That's what we're here to do. That's what you as the paying members are paying us as an organisation to do. This is me. I was a bit rounder then. I should change that photograph. Jenny, you'll see when you came on, Jenny is the co-chair. Jenny will be following in my footsteps very shortly. John Marshall, I don't know if John's here, I haven't seen him. He's the treasurer. Hi, John. John Flynn, one of the directors. Gary Cunningham, and Steve Ferguson and Neil Carr are our secretariat. They are the management team. Neil and Steve do an amazing job behind to make all this happen. We do all this with the steering group, and we have a group of guys and girls who are just purely here to pull today together. There's a lot of effort that goes into this. And we can't do this without our funding companies. The funding companies provide the structure, provide the finance for all this to happen. We welcome a number of new organisations to us this year. If your name's up there on the right-hand side, as you look at it, welcome, thank you. We hope you see benefit of being part of this journey. The journey which has been going since the late 90s. There's a stand over there with MSF, 25 plus years. We're 27 years old this year. Recent flashes, enclosed space. This has come across my desk a couple of times in different guises. Enclosed space, I know there's industry work going on at IMCA and at Auchinf at really high levels in the industry to try and do this. This is something that's just killing sailors over and over again. And it's not just sailors, it's stevedores, it's third-party organisations coming on. We estimate that 350 seafarers and third-party workers have been killed due to asphyxiation in enclosed space entries in ships since '96. Heavy subject at 9:10 in the morning, but it's here to wake you up. 43 incidents have occurred since 2022, resulting in 70 fatalities. Have a think about that throughout the day. An enclosed space is a space which is not designated for continuous worker occupancy and has either or both of the following characteristics: limited openings for entry and exit and inadequate ventilation. We're all very good at identifying enclosed spaces. There's nice signs on tanks nowadays saying this is an enclosed space. But there's others. There's a confined space. A confined space is a space because of its enclosed nature. There is a reasonably foreseeable risk due to its restricted access. All too often, we have found that in time, it is the enclosed spaces are associated with the multiple fatalities, not the. And this, to me, is something that's just repeated all the time. When I first went to sea back in the early 90s, Code of Safe Working Practices, Chapter 10, referred to enclosed spaces, and it was drummed into you. And I'm quite sure any of you who have been at sea or worked in this organisation had the same thing. But we just don't see, it seems to wax and wane, the numbers. There is best practice out there to help us with all this. MCA, Code of Safe Working Practices, Marine Guidance Notice, MGN 539. And for our own, we have a set of guidance practices and tools out there. The MSF, if you go into the website, into our resources, we have videos and learning material to use with the guys onshore and offshore to make the awareness of enclosed spaces prominent again. And when I say prominent, it's bringing it back to the fore. I don't think we've ever forgotten about it. This was part of the Information Note 2025. We see the deaths is coming back up again. Don't really want to be a chief officer. Being a chief officer is statistically the most likely to be succumbed by this issue. ABs as well. When I first looked at this slide, it really sank in to me. We talk about dropped objects, we talk about enclosed spaces, and there's just repeat injuries, time after time after time. So what we're going to do about it, are you guys going to make a commitment today to go back to your organisations and have that conversation? We have to accept that organisation learning does work, but it's the people within the organisation that learn. How are you going to challenge that norm going backwards to ensure that in your organisation you don't have this going forward? Yeah, I spent about 5 minutes just looking at a slide when Steve sent it to me. It's quite telling. Right. Another recent safety flash, number 14, motion compensated gangways, auto retraction. We're going to talk about all this kind of stuff this afternoon, but it's still prolific. We have seen power failure control system error can cause unplanned retraction of motion compensated gangways. We've seen injuries already as the industry moves towards work to work in both flotels, renewables and offshore sector. People falling onto the gangways, people being struck by the gangway moving, falling from height, resulting in serious injury or death. Heavy stuff for 9:10 in the morning. But we're here to talk about that, and if we don't have that conversation, we're not doing ourselves justice. Another one, burned to the arm of a contractor with a tumble dryer. A crew member, a seafarer, went to do his job, came home with a burn on his arm. That's not good enough, really, is it? We don't go to work just to get injured. We go to work and earn money, look after our families. Crew member suffered a minor burn in his lower left arm when reaching into a tumble dryer, making contact with the frame around the door. He opened it prior to the tumble dryer finishing its programme. It was 80 odd degrees in there. It's going to burn. It takes a while once the tumble dryer is finished for him to come. This is common sense, a lot of this, but by sharing this, it just brings it back to the thought, routine task, non-work related. That's probably where a lot of these things happen. Routine task, routine. How many times have I stood up here in the past? Pat, you probably stood up here a long time ago and we were still talking about routine tasks that were catching us out then. You know, it's when we're not prepared, it catches us out. So, we're going to get going. I am actually quite ahead of time, unusually, which is good. But we're going to start with our session for this morning after the briefing. I'll just take a couple of minutes. On each table, there is one of these forms, or 4 of these forms at least. I would ask you all to fill it in. What is its feedback form? We can only improve what we do today by getting your feedback. Now, if you want to go old school, you can write it out. If you want to go digital, there is a QR code, which I've tested this morning, and it works. Go on there and give us some feedback throughout the day. You also have an agenda on each table, and on that agenda is the QR code for the feedback form. Please do give us your feedback, good or bad, because we can only keep improving by hearing what you guys say. At the end of the day, you guys are paying for it, and we're delivering it, so this is your opportunity to feedback to us.